everyone, welcome to Tuesdays with Trailblazers by HRTech Edge, the video podcast where we explore the latest trends and insights in human resource and technology. I'm your host, Neha, and today we have Bernd Leger, Chief Marketing Officer of Cornerstone, the AI-powered talent experience platform. With 25 years of experience, he has previously served as CMO at some of the top brands like Mimecast, Nextthing, Checkmarks, and CloudLock. Please join me in welcoming Bernd Leger. Bernd, thank you so much for joining us today. Bernd, we would like to start the podcast by diving deep into your background. Please tell us about your experiences as CMO at different brands and any exciting success stories in leading the marketing strategies.
Awesome. Nia, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here. Yeah, let me tell you a bit more about myself. I'm originally from Germany. I've been in the US now for 25 years in Boston. I started my career in product marketing, but I've been a CMO for about 15 years or so. I started my career in earlier stage organizations, mainly selling to IT and security folks. So most of my career has been in cybersecurity, and I've worked for companies that were headquartered in Germany, in the UK, in Switzerland, in the US, but I think the key pattern here has been working for global companies. In regards to successes, I've been part of 4 exits. So we've had IPOs along the way. We've had sales to private equity. My last company, Mimecast, we sold the organization for $5.8 billion to a private equity firm. So that's been a lot of fun along the way, and helping have an impact on those organizations and their exits as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing your experiences, and I'm sure marketers have a lot to learn from your success stories. Would you like to give some example which is still there with you and is making a mark in whatever you're trying to do?
Yeah, I think there's a few common patterns along the way. Just looking at how to position organizations in a way that success is much more transparent and meaningful. So, for example, at Mimecast, it was like transformation in regards to reposition the company and really highlighting those successes and always aligning the marketing organization with the company goals. So I think that was a key success. I think when I think about some of my earlier companies, a lot of it had to do with like category creation and redesigning the positioning of the organization for slightly different markets and then positioning the organization that way, which helped us to get more visibility with the analyst community, with investor communities, and ultimately helping to shape those interests from other companies who were interested in acquiring our organizations.
And no wonder these challenges have contributed to your success. Now let's, take you through your current role, what you're doing, what are the unique challenges you're facing as a CMO of Cornerstone, and how do you overcome them? Any measures which you take for this effective marketing efforts?
Yeah, sure. Happy to share. So I've been at Cornerstone for about 7 months now. Fascinating organization. So when we think about Cornerstone, it's been an organization that has been a leader and has been successful for the last 25 years or so, and was also originally publicly traded. We've taken the company private over 2 years ago. And in many ways, the opportunity here is how to retell that story around Cornerstone and how to make sure that people understand what we do. There's so much leadership here and knowledge, and our solutions are quite broad. And so helping the market understand where we fit in and where we can help, I think, is an interesting journey. Although we have more than 7,000 customers and more than 125 million users, we still see a lot of organizations asking, who is Cornerstone? So for me, one of the major opportunities is to ensure that everyone out there who's looking at solutions for talent in the workforce understands who we are and where we fit in and how we can help. So that's, I think, one of the biggest opportunities that I see. It's fun. I run a global team. It's very exciting being responsible for managing a team that is located we sell in over 150 countries. So my team is located all over the world. So bringing that team together holistically with a common approach, but then also looking at where we need to be unique in the different markets is super interesting for me as a leader.
Interesting. And it's fascinating to hear how you gauge the impact of your marketing efforts. So let's talk about how you use data for all kind of insights. And I'm sure you juggle a lot of data to back up your decisions. But data alone is not enough, and you need to have a clear and compelling vision and strategy to reach your target audience. That makes me curious, and I want to know about your go-to-market plans that drive double and triple-digit revenue growth. Please share the secret with us.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if it's core secret. I think the key here is you just hit it on the head, which is data-driven insights. So looking at how do we always understand how we're driving impact. And for me as a marketing leader, I don't measure our success in leads or top of the funnel. I always look at aligning our number with the company targets. So if our goals are brand awareness or are creating ARR pipeline, then how do we make sure that my team is 100% aligned with that? Meaning we have to have strong partnerships with our sales partners. We have to have strong partnerships with our product partners. And building those strong relationships is really, really important so that we're always aligned. So the data side for me then relates to taking a very customer-centric mindset and understanding truly what are the customers looking for and what are their needs, what are their use cases, and mapping back our activities from a go-to-market strategy to those. So if that relates to vertically driven go-to-market strategies or persona-driven market strategies, truly understanding who our buyers are, and then mapping back our journey back with them. I think that's kind of at a high level, those are some of the key tenets of my team and how we think about it. The other thing I focus a lot on is being extremely transparent with my organization, making sure that we have constant communication, we're always aligned. So, for example, I have a monthly all hands with my entire organization, everyone on my team. And so we share successes, opportunities, and challenges there. We make sure that we're aligned. And then we focus on having very clear alignment that everyone on the team understands their contribution to the overall success. What is their individual KPI that they're contributing to? Those are some of the things that are like just common philosophies that are important to me. And part of that also relates to empowerment and making sure that the team feels like they have what they need and then letting them really thrive and go forward. So those are just some of the core tenets, and then finding that right balance between the plethora of the marketing mix that's available to us, looking at different routes to market, if that is direct channel, if that is product-led growth, if that is growth through the partner channel, looking at all those different avenues, and then really having a strong digital engine that powers all of the growth that we're driving at Cornerstone.
Yeah, it is a tough balance to make, of course. Now let's move on to exploring Cornerstone a little bit. AI is making a significant impact on talent management, and in fact, it powers Cornerstone platform too. So throw some light on how does Cornerstone use AI to help people work better and grow faster, and what makes it different from other platforms?
Awesome. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about Cornerstone. So at its core, what Cornerstone does, we have a holistic platform for talent and learning. And so what that means is that we empower the needs of an organization with the individual goals that a learner would have or an employee would have. And we bring those two together in a way that it serves purposes for both sides. So we look at opportunities for learners, for employees to further their careers, for internal mobility, or for finding those opportunities that get them excited about their careers. And we map the needs of an organization where they need to find those right skills and those right resources to make sure that their corporate strategy can be executed. Bring all that together in a single platform. I mentioned the 125 million users we have. And the power of the platform is that all this data that we have that is infused by AI allows us to be able to really guide organizations and those individuals in the right paths. So if that could be around, hey, we see opportunities inside the organization. One of our largest customers, they have 60,000 employees, a company called DHL, Deutsche Post, and they're looking at how do they fill all of their positions internally, ideally, right? So how do we make sure that we can find those opportunities inside the organization, find the right talent, and we map those together? So coming back to your question around AI, we've had AI infused in our platform for the last 15, 20 years or so. And we continue to innovate on that now, leveraging more generative AI technologies as well. Simple things like being able to tell you, based on your interest around learning, what courses might be the right ones for you to take. It might be related to helping talent professionals help with their job descriptions and finding those right talents and filling the right spots in their organizations. So those are things we've been working on for the last 15 or 20 years, and we continue to infuse and add more capabilities to our platform to further that.
Interesting. So another question which I have around AI is more often than not is considered as a competitor to the human counterparts. How is Cornerstone pushing a counter narrative to this perception?
Yeah, I think we have to realize the reality is that AI is transforming the workforce. And so I think in some ways we're looking at how do we embrace AI in a way that is conducive to the organization, but that is also respectful and responsible. So in our world, what that means is making sure that we look at AI not as a replacement for the human, but really as a co-pilot and as a supportive vehicle to help humans and to help workforces and to help HR professionals to up-level their own skills in a way that is, again, not necessarily as a replacement, but to help in that transformation of skills that is happening in the world right now. We all know that when we look at stats from major organizations, they're all looking at making changes in their organizations. Many of the folks working for them are looking at changing their skill sets, and AI is providing opportunities for us to transform and to up-level skills in organizations. So how do we then leverage that to empower users to learn new skills that they maybe haven't had, and doing that in a responsible way?
Exactly. Of course, AI is growing and will continue to grow, but no way we can throw humans out of the equation, right? So we
Absolutely.
have to treat them respectfully. That's there. That brings us to people management. One need, the teams to work on a certain way to achieve great results. And we know that you are doing that. How do you make globally distributed teams work efficiently? And how does that make your employees happier and your organization more successful?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier in regards to kind of
Yes.
core tenets that are important to me, including transparency, open communication, empowerment. I also personally, I always look for people who have initiative and who are looking at making changes in the organization. So in many cases, I'll give you a few examples where I've had among my most junior people in my organization come up with ideas that I've provided opportunities for them to execute against, and given them just outside of the organizational chart, like what do we have to accomplish, and then what are the people who are willing to take up those challenges. And for me, that's been an opportunity where you see people rising and stepping up and doing that across different teams as well, not just within my organization, but what are those cross-functional projects in the organization that are going to change the trajectory of the company, and who are those people who are interested in taking advantage of those opportunities. And you can then quickly see who are those people who are really up for the opportunity and who are willing to invest their own time. And those are like your superstars, but also recognizing that you have a lot of people who have, there's diversity across the entire organization, making sure that you take advantage of all those different talents and all the different opinions and ideas. One of the things that I'm so excited about running a global team is understanding that there's unique perspectives coming from that global team and from a diverse workforce, and then tapping into those different talents and those different ideas for me is incredibly powerful to up-level the organization and to come up with better ideas and more effective ways of running your organization.
Correct. Proactiveness is very important skill which is missing, but yes, that actually brings the superstars. Correct. Being an expert, yeah, absolutely.
I was just going to add a point on that. I think also identifying what motivates people and being able to tap into that. Like we talked about skills and upskilling, right? So identifying what are like certain skills that people can take advantage of and providing opportunities for them to do that. If it's like, I don't know, a hackathon or a workathon around AI that the entire team can come have ideas around, or if it's particularly people taking certain courses they've identified. So also investing in skilling and learning ourselves. We are an HR tech company, so in some ways we want to be the best first principle, the best example of how that can be done, and be a shining example for the industry in that way.
Right. So being an expert in talent management, you must have noticed that this field is growing. And what are some new challenges and opportunities that you see in this area? And how do you use them for Cornerstone's advantage?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just recently at the HRTech conference in Las Vegas, and there were a lot of like key trends that we saw there. So certainly transformation. We talked about AI being a key transformation in industry, and it's no secret when we look at the last few years how the workforce has changed from this very office-centric environment to a remote-first environment in many cases, to the employees taking much more advantage of the opportunity being in the driver's seat. We are seeing a continued shortage of skilled people in organizations. So in many ways, making that strong investment in people, I think, is the first call of action for organizations, looking at the people they already have in the organization as a way of upskilling and driving their goals. So I would say AI, this change in the workforce in general, and kind of the focus on the employee has been a key change in some ways. I would also say just skilling in general has become a major trend, and looking at internal mobility, internal skilling, and then mapping skills that your organization needs both inside and outside the organization. A lot of organizations, and that was very transparent at HRtech as well, are looking at what are some ways that we can build more models around the skills that we need in the organization, and how do you then map that to my employees. So that's been a common thread that I've seen since I've been here at Cornerstone in the last year or so.
Okay. And we look forward to seeing Cornerstone creating more waves. Now, coming to your accomplishments a little bit, you had made it to 101 top marketing influencers 2022. Congratulations on that. And what do you believe were the main factors that contribute to this?
Yeah, thank you. They just appointed me again in 2023, just recently, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think for me, it's like one of the things that's important to me is also always being at the top of my game and learning what's new. So as much as I'm asking my team to constantly stay at the top of what's new in industry, I do that myself. So every week I participate in CMO roundtables. I try to make sure that I'm at the top of my game and learning new trends. And in many ways, like I said earlier, a lot of it has to do with showing continued success. I think in my career, I've had continued success in most of the organizations I've been at. I've learned from those instances where I wasn't successful to invest in my career further. And like I said earlier, for me, it's a lot around being kind of the facilitator that allows my team to thrive. I look at removing obstacles. I look at empowering my team. And I think that's just been kind of a key of my success in my career. And in some ways, picking the right companies. I have to say, I've been fortunate that I've worked for companies that have been successful. I think the common thread here has been, I always look for companies that have a great culture and that are just a great place to work. And I think when you have great people, great things can happen. And so finding those organizations that have great people and great technology, and then being able to look for organizations that believe in marketing and then believe marketing can have a big impact has been kind of my recipe for driving success.
Oh, interesting. That is a thought I'll take home today. So you have a growth mindset, and of course, our audience have a lot to learn from. Now we are almost at the end of this conversation, Bernd. One last question, though. You have authored 2 books. Please tell us more about those books.
Sure. That was, I would say, early in my career. So when I was living in Germany, I was interested in moving back to the US. I had lived in the US as a child when I was 10 to 13, and I came back, and I wanted to come back for college and ultimately to live here. And so I was applying to American colleges at the time, and I found it quite difficult. So my first book was about how to apply to American universities, and my second one was about how to work in the US. And so it was kind of like wanting to give back and wanting to share my experiences and my challenges that I had with others. And I think that was very, in some ways, very fulfilling, regardless of all my work challenges and opportunities and career successes. I can always say, look, I've helped individuals kind of fulfill their goals and their aspirations as well. So that was very fulfilling. And I've written a lot of blog posts and other things, but those books will always be there as a reminder of how to give back and how to help others.
Oh, interesting. Bernd, thank you so much for taking this time to share your phenomenal journey and remarkable insights with us today.
Thank you, Nia.
And thank you all for joining us today. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. And don't forget to check out Cornerstone to make your workforce future ready. Until next time, stay tuned with HR Tech Edge for more insights into all things HR and technology. Till we meet again, signing off, your host, Neha. Thank you.